short too, if I may, and then afterwards. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we are live.
Okay, right. So we are live on, and I can see us. I can see comments. Right. So, hello everyone. Hello, beautiful people. Everyone that's watching. So we are all pretty much. Oh, Susanna's going to join us as well, so she's going to jump on as well now. So we're all pretty much in the same boat now. We're pretty much all on lockdown. And last night, there's Susanna. Is that Susanna? Is that Susanna? Yeah. She's. So I know I was feeling some feelings last night, so we will talk about that. But before we start the talk, I'm going to introduce everyone to you because I'm surrounded once again by amazing people. So thank you all for joining us. So today, the names aren't on the screen today, but hopefully, I don't know why that is Kylie. Is Kylie? No, just, I don't know. So, okay, so we've got Linda. So Linda, say hi, wave. So Linda's there. And Linda's specialises in anxiety and confidence problems, NLP master practitioner. Yeah, master practitioner. And we've also got the lovely Lee Filmer Hallendorf. And she does NLP and hypnotherapy. Oh, there we go. Someone else joining us. Everyone together. Togetherness. So you, where are you? So you would like to focus on loss of income, panic, fear, and depression. So that's your main areas. Is that right?
Yeah, and also I think at the moment is I want to focus on helping with the panic, particularly now that there's lockdown as well as everything else. But because I'm finding that even though I do what I do, I've actually been also like going through those panic moments of, you know, what the heck. So I think let's get it together.
Absolutely. And then we've got Susanna. Is Susanna? Is she here? Oh,
She's just left.
Susanna just left. Okay. Is that Sandra down the bottom?
Dagmara.
Oh, no, it's Dagmara. It's Dagmara, isn't it? Is that Dagmara? Yeah, Dagmara. Okay. So, because people from all over the world are on here. So Dagmara, I'm just going to introduce you quickly. And your angles, emotional well-being and anchoring in the body and self-awareness expansion. Just a little bit about that. Anything?
Yes, so mainly I work with the imagery, inner child, and just emotional release and working with emotions, meditation, and all this stuff. So I think it's a really good time right now to focus on our emotions and know how to work with them, basically, how to. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's my angle, basically.
Thanks,
mainly, you're welcome.
Thank you, darling. And then we've got Lucinda Dawes, who is actually one of the assistants when I was doing all my training, so very grateful to have her on as well. And she's an NLP master practitioner, expertise in NLP parenting and managing children during isolation, which is absolutely needed. So thank you, Lucinda. Have you got anything to introduce yourself? Or? Okay.
Sure. So yeah, like Danielle said, I'm an NLP master and clinical hypnotherapist. While I don't actually practice for my business, I do have a lot of experience of using NLP in parenting and supporting other parents in implementing NLP, which in times like this, like times of big change, times of stress, when everybody's going to be struggling, NLP can make a huge difference to the mental health and happiness of the whole family.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then we've got beautiful Kylie. Oh my gosh, helping again with the technological side as well. She's an amazing practitioner too. Are you a master practitioner, Kylie, or not?
Not yet. That will be this year.
It will be, absolutely. But she's really helping absolutely everything, and amazing person as well. So you do NLP hypnosis and time-based techniques practitioner. Just a little bit introduction.
Yes, so I also work with the 12 universal laws. So if I bring those into the mix, it's because I love the philosophy that they bring, and I think it's such a great time to learn more about those principles. And I think what I'm just trying to bring to this session is helping people reimagine the way they work and looking at how you can use the situation as an opportunity, and how we've actually all been wanting this in the world, and now that we've got it, people are freaking out, but I believe that we've all been asking for it on some level. So yeah.
Thank you very much, Kylie. Okay, then we've got Susanna, and Susanna, I'm in a field of notes. So Susanna, Susanna Panessian, and
Yes.
and you have to help me with this. And Ayurveda therapist?
Ayurveda therapist. I've been a yoga teacher for more than, oh my God, it's been a long time. I think about 18 years. And I practiced Ayurveda for 15. And it's through Terry that, the classes that I took with Terry, I did the practitioner master class in NLP, and I found it brought a tremendous difference in the way I approach the consultations. And so if you want, what I like to bring into the sessions with my clients is this magic, the idea to connect with something greater, and that if you are not connected with the source, then it's hard to find that state or that feeling of strength and power within yourself without being connected to something greater. And that's what I think we forget most of the times. We think we have to deal with this alone by ourselves.
Yes.
And it's then that we feel this, have this feeling of powerlessness and despair and fear and anxiety, because we think we're alone. But that sense of feeling connected and safe, it's actually from within. And connected to the source. I mean, we have to admit that we are limited, but then this limit actually allows us to connect with that which is unlimited, infinite, and forever feeding us. So
absolutely. Thanks, Susanna. Okay.
You're welcome.
Okay. Sorry, Linda.
You look wonderful, by the way. You're fantastic. You look fabulous.
Oh,
so beautiful.
It's got a light shining in my face, brighten it up.
Yes, you did.
So all of you look wonderful. And Linda, sorry, I didn't get you to say anything, but I'm going to come back to you right now, because I'd like you to introduce yourself. And also, what I thought would be very useful today is if we could go through the now state, just live, so that people can focus. Everyone's going through different levels of anxiety at the moment. I mean, last night when we got the lockdown, even as an NLP practitioner, master practitioner, and everything that I know as a person and who I am as a being, I still was dealing with this fear. And if we are dealing with fear like that in ourselves, then people that don't have these techniques are really feeling even worse, and they need help. So I thought, if you wouldn't mind, Linda, taking us through the now state, just in a succinct form, but so that people know exactly how to do it. And maybe we can all do it together now before we start, so we can focus in the moment and carry on from there. So Linda specialises in anxiety and confidence problems. Will you just introduce yourself quickly? Sorry.
Yes, I will. So can you hear me? Yeah, good. Okay. So the first thing I've learned in working with anxiety and confidence issues, the first thing I've learned is that the awful thing about anxiety is when we feel we have no control. It's out of our control. In the past, in another life, I've had my own battles with anxiety and depression, and the worst thing was feeling there's nothing to do other than maybe you could take medication. Medication didn't work for me. It made me feel worse, and we don't need to rely on it. So what I want to do for my clients is give them some control. So the now state that we are just going to go through is the first thing I give them. The first thing, and in my business I call it instant calm. And I'll do this today. Then I will give you a trigger. I'll give you a button. This will take you to a place that is calm, a place of calm and strength in your mind that feels nice, that comes upon you, that is there, instead of the anxiety that just comes upon you. So we can make this come upon you today, because we have, those of us that are trained have these skills, and then I'll give you a button to bring it back whenever you need it.
Wonderful. Thanks, Linda.
So if we just all of us find a comfortable position, And let's take a deep breath. We're always hammering on about deep breaths, but it does reset some things. So take that deep breath, one that doesn't lift your chest, but actually that pushes your ribs out to the side. That's kind of deep breath we're looking for. And as you let it go, it will automatically take some tension with it. So 2 or 3 of those deep breaths. And then I'd like you to keep your eyes open. You can blink. And I'd like you to find something in front of you, something small that you can focus on. Maybe I'm not saying you've got marks on your walls, but maybe a little mark on your wall, or a spot of shadow, or something out of your window, but something small, tiny. And then I'd like you to notice that as you focus on that small spot, that actually you can see a lot more in your peripheral vision. There's a lot more that you can see. You can see way back to the sides. You can see up possibly to your ceiling, maybe some of the floor coming in. So I'd like you to bring all of that you can see, still looking at the spot, bring all of that into that same space with your visual focus on that spot. And then you can become aware of other things in the room, even things that you can't see or feel. You know where you're sitting. You know what's behind you, what's to the side of you. So just bring that into your awareness as well. And that room is in a building. Just expand outwards to bring in everything that's in that building. You know what's in it. You don't need the detail. You don't need to know exactly what cereal bowls are left on the kitchen table or anything like that. Just bring all of your building into that same space of awareness. And then in your mind, wherever you are in lockdown in your mind, we can go out into the town that we live in, the town or the city or the area that we live in. You know what that looks like. You can imagine what that looks like with some cars, still some cars traveling maybe, and some people going to buy their food, and people in their other homes. Just bring your awareness of other people doing what they're doing and bring that into that same space. And then let's expand out now to the piece of land that we live on. That may be a continent, it may be a country, whatever it is. The piece of land that we live on, just bring that into your mental experience as well. And then beyond that, there's the sea. Let's bring our awareness of the depth and vastness of the oceans. Just bring that too into that space. There's plenty of room. We only started with a spot. Plenty of room. And then we know that there are other countries on this planet that we all inhabit. There are other countries without needing to know the exact shape or location of them. You know, you've got an awareness of that. Bring that into that same space. And now we've only got one other place that we can visit, as far as we are aware, just the one other place, and that's the whole universe, the whole of the universe, the vastness and depth of that whole universe. And just let your mind envision that, however you usually envision it, with its black darkness and also its spots of brightness, bright light. And the endlessness of it, just bring that into that space in your mind. And now you will notice that this has created a nice feeling. This is a good feeling. We've created what we can call a state of mind, and it's a state of calm and strength where everything is okay in this moment, in the now. So while you're there, I'd like you to put together, use one of your hands, Put together your thumb and first 2 fingers. And just keep enjoying that place of calm and strength. And now as we're talking, a mechanism is happening that happens naturally, that is associating this place in your mind, this calm and strength. It's being associated with this movement with your fingers. This is your button to instant calm. This is your trigger. And whenever you need to return to this feeling of calm and strength in your mind, just do this movement and you will return there. And now this place in your mind will continue throughout the rest of this call. And you can let go of your fingers, relax your hand, and we're all set.
Linda, thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you. So now I'm in the nice present tense. I don't feel fear or panic. So I'm going to just take it back to last night and just to ask what probably a lot of people are feeling. So last night when we got the lockdown notification, I want, in my household, we have someone that lives here that will be travelling to work and coming back. So he's part of our household. So we have no control over what he's bringing in. And that sense of panic where you can't self-isolate, even though the other people in your house are, but he's having to go out and coming back. So you don't know what is bringing in. Now, that for me was a real fear because there was no control over that situation. And what I'd quite like to do is just throw it out there and just give some advice from other people. How would you deal with that? Because obviously there are NHS workers, there are medic workers all over the world that are in this situation. They're going out, they're feeling anxiety for what they're about to face. They're going to bring it back home. They're worried about that. They're worried about the people in the house. They're feeling the anxiety about what they're going to be bringing into the house, if anything at all. So please can I throw out that question, different techniques that maybe someone could deal with that. So is there anyone that would, Susanna, please? Yeah.
I just unmuted myself. Well, what I want to say is that basically why we're here, all of us, it's because of these feelings that we've all been having. The one you just described, this feeling of insecurity, the fear and anxiety, and the feelings that we'd like to change, right? And there are 2 categories of feelings. There are the feelings of confidence and joy and trust, right? Trust that everything is okay. But most importantly, the feelings that keep us from feeling these feelings of confidence, right? So there are 2 categories of feelings that we can experience. And of course, we all know that all the experts agree, you know, that the inner world is that which controls and informs and influences the outer world, right? And the truth is, whether we study, I don't know, the quantum physics, for instance, or we go into these ancient mysteries or texts, you know, regardless of the time, the period, the language, or the geography, or the definitions that they all use, you know, they all seem to agree on one thing, which is that our inner world controls and manages and influences the external world. So basically, you know, while it's not always possible to anticipate what's happening, and this is a very peculiar situation that we're living in, we could not consciously anticipate all these variables that occur. We cannot control the number of viruses, for instance, that you might carry on your shoes or on your hands, on some packages of the products that you're buying. Inside our mind, we are the gods and the goddesses of our universe, and this is what we have to remember. You know, we are the kings and the queens of our neurology, and we all have this privilege and this permission and the authority to make any change we want inside ourselves, and to make all these inner changes experience and manifest in the outer world. So I would like all of us here to think of because we want this safe place, right? And I would like all of us to think of a specific safe place that you used to have when you were little, for instance. For some people, it's a childhood place, like you were in your mom's kitchen, or it was under your bed when you were a little baby. For some other people, it will be this beautiful landscape, or a beach, or the top of the mountain. It could be a a cave, or it could be, even for more spiritual people, it could be a very sacred place in another dimension, surrounded by guardian angels. Whatever that safe place is, you know, you could allow your mind to recreate that space, because all these spaces, regardless of the nature of that space or the qualities, they have something in common, which is the feeling. That feeling that whatever happens in there, it's okay. The feeling that when you're in there, and then you hear what you hear when you're in there, and you see what you see when you're in there, and is that feeling that is common to all these places, regardless of what that is for you. And that feeling can be produced by your neurology. Our neurology is capable of creating this feeling. We have this impression that the safety comes from outside. It doesn't. The feeling of safety comes from within. It is your neurology that can create it, regardless of what happens outside. And this is a tool that, it's funny because earlier today I got ready, I got myself pretty for the meeting, and I put a perfume on without thinking. And I realized as soon as I felt the perfume, that there's that sense of, hey, life goes on. It's like I'm going to a meeting, I'm going out there, and you can use this. For instance, sit down for a few moments, either imagine or remember a place of safety, go in there, feel everything that you feel, give that feeling a color, and imagine a bubble of that energy being poured like water filling up a bottle, filling you in with this beautiful energy, beautiful color, and allow yourself to experience these feelings. This is what I would do. This is what I do in the session with my clients, for instance. And when that energy becomes strong inside you, then you can allow it to be attracted like a magnet attracting a metal towards these spots, these feelings in the body where the anxiety is, because you have to feel where that is. Is it in your chest? It's in your stomach. And that energy goes towards, magnetically attracted towards these spots, and dissolves them like pouring hot water over an ice cube.
Oh, no.
Allowing all these feelings, you know, all this stress to dissolve from your body. And when that feeling is nice and strong and beautiful, you can double it and triple it and quadruple it and make it very strong until you become a source of that energy. And when that happens, you can put your favorite perfume on. And then in the morning, you just have to put the perfume on and the feeling will be there.
Thank you, Susanna. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Lovely. Okay. Is anyone else like to comment on that as well? Yes, sorry. Go ahead, Dagmara.
So yeah, what Susanna said, I totally agree with this one thing that she mentioned, that the safety is only inside, and it seems to us that it's outside, you know, but in this particular times, we can really verify that it's not, and never been actually. And now we can, this is the opportunity as well, if we have so much time, that we can go in and really see what's happening inside. You know, you can sit with your emotions, and when it's the moment that you really feel fear or anxiety or anger, because we have different emotions. For example, for me, it's a lot of anger, because I'm not really that concerned about the virus, but I'm unhappy that I'm locked down, I can't leave the house, that somebody controls my life from the outside. So for me, the feeling is actually anger, and that's what I've been experiencing recent days. And what my technique, what I do, how to deal with that, I just sit down and breathe, like through my mouth, and just say it's okay to be angry. You know, this is the situation, it's fine. And just stay with this anger, going back to your body, like Susanna said, where is it in my body? And just allow this anger to be there. Sit with it for, it doesn't take really that long, because I like the metaphor that you use, you know, that's what happens when you allow the emotion to come, and the emotion comes and it goes, and that's how we release the emotions, so it doesn't become suppressed in our body. Because what we're gonna do, we're gonna suppress the emotions, anger, fear, anxiety, and then it's gonna the consequence of it will be some illness or some physical disease, because that's what happens when we suppress emotions. So having a lot of time at home right now, we can give ourselves this, it can be 5 minutes, it doesn't have to be a lot, but just to give the attention to your emotions, to your physical body, sit down with it, breathe, observe, and don't go to the mind. Just go back to the body. Where do I feel this anger? Where do I feel this anxiety? And sometimes you can touch yourself as well, if that makes you feel better, or cuddle yourself, or just give yourself physical touch, because it also helps. And allow any emotion that is there to be there. If it's anger, it's anger. It's okay to feel angry. If it's fear, it's okay to feel fear. Those are the times. It's very natural to feel that emotion, or anxiety, or whatever that is. Maybe we feel joy. I don't know. I doubt it, but it's an amazing exercise, and it allows us in this moment, especially that we are kind of cramped together in the house, and it's a lot of tension. So there are a lot of different emotions can happen, and giving ourselves this 5-10 minutes, or depends how much time you have. You can sit longer, it's not the problem. It really helps. So every day we release these emotions, and then hopefully we won't get sick, or won't have any other kind of traumatic consequences after this what's happening. So that's my little tip and advice.
Thank you, Dagmar.
And point of view.
and if someone's going out to work and bringing it back, maybe Lee or Kylie, if someone's going out to work and you have no physical control over that, and you've got that anxiety of that person having to deal with that, and then the anxiety of the people in the house having to deal with the fact that something's maybe been brought in that you have no control of. That's fear. That's a real physical fear that people are dealing with, and I am feeling, and having to deal with. So how would you suggest, I'm sorry, I'm going to come to you, Lucinda, as well, because I want to ask you about with the children specifically, but would you have any comments on that, with that fear for something you can't control that's happening, that bringing it in?
So from my point of view, I would be using, this is more about NLP, and I use NLP within the hypnotherapy that I do. But I think the now state that Linda just did, using the actual trigger, is vitally important. And I would maybe do some of that sort of hypnotherapy or guided visualization to protect yourself, which I will be offering online free soon. So I will obviously keep you kind of connected to that. But I think it's very much what the others are saying. I had a conversation with Kylie just before this, and this is suddenly the awareness that has become in me is that as practitioners, we need to keep ourselves strong. And for me, this is the biggest time ever that I'm now going to have to learn not just to be able to help others, but to be able to help myself, so that I'm talking my walk, walking my talk, whatever, really kind of getting into this and spending even more time in meditation and going within, finding the place where the fear is. What I do a very lot for anxiety is I breathe, and if you focus the breath into a particular part of your body, so is the anxiety in the chest, is it where in the body, like what Dagmara was saying, breathe the breath to that point and hold it. So as you're holding your breath, allow that feeling, allow that emotion to attach to the breath. And then as you exhale, you can either exhale it out through the breath, or you can allow it down the body and out through the feet. And, if you do that a couple of times, again, we do a lot of breath work. But I think that then calms down the sort of, the nervous system, the vagus nerve calms down, so we can get out of that hype state that unfortunately, everybody gets to. I kind of get cross with myself, because I think, here I am, I'm a practitioner, I'm helping people, why would I feel that? But now is the time, locked down in a space with lots of people, that I need my breath more than ever, and my actually doing the practices that I'm asking others to practice.
Thank you very much. And also trusting that everyone is doing their best to try and stop this. So if they are going out, we have to just allow that trust that they are doing that, because it's a lack of.
Could I just come in here with something, because I want to make a connection between what we're talking of and health, real sturdy health. that may be missed by some people who are watching us, who are listening to us. We all know some people who are like cockroaches, don't we? You know, they will be here when everything else, when the apocalypse comes, they will still be here. And what we usually say is they have a strong constitution. That's, have we all heard of that saying? We say, oh yes, I know, no matter what happens. So we have one in our family, mine and Lucinda, we're in the same family. My Lucinda's great grandma, anyway,
My grandma.
So this is Nan. So Nan in our family, she's 92.
Wow.
And she's not been a well, you know, she's creaking at the seams. There's all sorts wrong with her. Also, there's all sorts wrong with her mind and her physical body, but she goes on and on and on. And we all in the family, all around her, we know this coronavirus, it won't take her out. And it's because what we see is that she's got this strong constitution. What I want to say is this is led by your mind. So all these things, calming ourselves, will strengthen that life force. This is all we need. We need a strong life force. In common parlance, we call it a strong constitution. We need a strong life force. That strong life force is not built by anything else except all these things we're talking of today: calming ourselves, building up positivity, remaining strong in our mind. If we're strong in our mind, we are strong in our body.
Wonderful.
Let's use that as a mantra. Let's be strong in our mind to be strong in our body.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Yvonne. Yeah, sorry, Deborah. Yeah, I want to actually move on to the next subject as well, because I'm mindful of. Sorry,
I just want 1 minute to comment on what you said, and I think what we all know, where you focus on attention, I mean, then your energy goes. So I think it's really good not to focusing on what we don't want, but focusing on what we want, and just only keep that in your mind, that, you know, like, don't think about it, and just don't watch news like non-stop. Like, if you don't watch at all, I would say, but if you really need to, just watch it one time a day in the evening, so you don't start your day with fear and anxiety and worrying, this person leaves, this come in, there is all it around, and I'm so scared, you know. I would recommend not to watch news at all, so you don't feed yourself. But some people need to, for work reasons, I don't know, then just watch it in the evening, 5 minutes, so you're updated, and don't feed yourself, and then don't focus your attention on it at all, as much as you can avoid it, you know. So then your mind doesn't go to what's gonna happen if, you know.
What we believe we conceive. So try and constitute that, the belief, and keep that inside. So I'd like to just move on to another subject as well, because I'm mindful of the time. So not we're all, that's very wide, but a lot of people are going to be stuck in maybe small houses, maybe big houses, but whatever it is, it's four walls with children, maybe that don't want to do some work, maybe that are, you know, okay at the beginning, but it's going to play up along the way, because this is a scary situation for them. This is completely unparalleled to anything in their universe that they've known. They're not mixing with other kids if they're single kids. If they've got brothers and sisters, there's fighting going on there, and the parenting. So I'd like to ask Lucinda, from your knowledge base, could you just give some advice for people in that situation, please?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, can you hear me okay? I haven't unmuted. First of all, the most basic thing to understand is this is not normal circumstances, so normal rules don't apply. There's a lot of people who I've seen, they're obviously having to homeschool their children now. They're not used to them being at home, and what they're doing is they're trying to keep this really rigid structure and routine where the kids are up first thing in the morning, they're even in their school uniforms, and they're sat at a table doing schoolwork. And while a routine is really important, it's more important that we make sure there's flexibility in that to account for what they're actually experiencing and what they're going through. They're going to be hugely dysregulated. They're going to have more outbursts. They're going to struggle. They're going to be difficult for you, and they're going to push boundaries 10 times as hard because they need to know more than ever that boundaries are there. So the key thing that has not changed and will never change no matter what the situation is that the core foundation has to be connection with your child. Above all else, what you need to focus on is building that connection. There's lots of ways we can do it. The most obvious, simple ways to explain that is it needs to be spending quality focused time with your child, and it needs to be positive interaction. So sitting at a table for an hour, going on at your child, going, just do your maths, do your maths, do your maths. Yeah, you might have spent an hour with your child. I assure you that's not building connection. I use a term that I basically call the love jar. And it's the idea that if you've got a jar, every interaction you have with your child is either filling that jar up or emptying that jar out. And you want to keep your love jar so full up to the top that when you have to put your foot down, when you have to dictate what they do, when you have to ask them for something, you've got enough kind of in the bank that, yeah, it will detract a bit from your love jar, but they still feel connection. They're still wanting to please you. They will behave as best as they can. So ways you would do that, I mean, talk to them, and talk to them like adults. A lot of people have this idea that children are not the same as us. They're little people. They don't understand. They can't do this. They can't do that. And their experience and feelings are not as valid as ours as adults, which is, it's not true. We can learn a lot from them actually if we just listen to them. So have conversations with your children. Ask them open-ended questions, and don't correct or try and fix anything for them. Just listen. So, how are you feeling about not being able to see your friends? And when they say, I'm really sad because I miss my friends and I wanted to play in the park, don't say, well, it doesn't matter because you've got lots of toys. That won't help them. That won't build connection. It will just detract from them and make them feel like you don't understand. You can use various NLP techniques. So now I have experience of raising a child with oppositional defiance disorder. So that is fun. Basically, if you've never heard of it before, it's children, it's a behavioral issue where they will not accept authority no matter what. They will defy direct instruction. So if you're asking them to do stuff and trying to hold boundaries, like everyone says, traditional parenting, hold boundaries. Once you've said something, you do stick to it no matter what. They will stick to it 10 times harder. There is nothing. You could sell their Xbox on eBay and they still wouldn't give in. So it makes you have to look at how to do things differently. Now, the key thing that I learned from that, I started researching this 10 years ago. The key thing that I learned was that actually, no matter what your child is doing, no matter how they are behaving, they are inherently good and they want to please you. So if you keep that connection strong, the stronger your connection, the more they will want to please you, and the more likely they are to do things that make life easier for you, to put their dishes in the dishwasher, or go to bed when it's bedtime, or whatever it is, stop poking their sister in the eye, whatever it is. And that's where the love jar comes in. You've got to keep that jar topped up. So play games with them, play games that you don't enjoy that they love, and do it with a smile on your face, to build that connection with them. Drop the rope. We have this saying, forever saying, drop the rope, drop the rope, drop the rope. It means you cannot have a tug of war with only one person holding a rope. So if there's things that are a constant battle, pick carefully, choose the things that really matter, and drop the rope on the things that don't. So I would, by preference, have my children sat at the table, eating nicely with their cutlery. But in the grand scheme of things, am I willing to let them eat on the sofa in order to build up that love jar, so that when I say, guys, I can't handle this, can you please go hoover the living room? Yes, I'm willing to make that trade. So narrow it down in your head, get really clear on what are your key, most important things that you're willing to hold a boundary on, and hold them, and then drop the rope on the things that don't matter, so that you can keep that connection. A message came up saying, can I ask a question?
Lee, go ahead.
Thank you, Lucinda. I think what you're saying is absolutely beyond amazing for my situation. But there may be others in my situation, which I'm going to very briefly tell you, because I don't think this platform is about children. But my son was naughty, and I took away his phone. He's 12, soon to be 13. Just before the whole lockdown and the schools closed. So our schools have been closed now for almost 2 weeks, and he's doing online learning. But because I told him that for 2 weeks he couldn't have it, I won't give him the phone back until the 2 weeks are over. However, the circumstances are unprecedented at the moment, and I'm assuming that all his friends, he's an only child, and I'm assuming that all the friends are maybe discussing work or something on their WhatsApp. He's not, I mean, he knows that when I say something, I say it, so he wouldn't ask for it back. Would it be a time, because of this current situation, to back down on that, or is it?
So it's a really good question, and it's one that I always use kind of a core foundation parenting kind of, not technique, but rule, which is your children are going to learn and mirror what you do. So what are you teaching by holding this boundary now, even though the circumstances have changed? Now, it may depend on how severe whatever he did in the first place was to lose the phone for 2 weeks. For me, in my house, we have a very, very hard rule on physical aggression in any way, shape or form. So no matter what, for us, if I had to issue a screen ban or Xbox ban or whatever for that reason, I wouldn't undo it no matter what. But we don't have an issue with physical aggression in this house because it's a hard rule for us and always has been. Now, what you have to choose between is, do you want to teach him that you've said absolutely not, no, and you stick to your guns when you've said something? Or do you want to teach him that we use critical thinking, we use empathy, and that we can be flexible when the world demands it of us? That's the choice you have to make. And you also have to think about what's the core message he's going to be getting from this. If you were to give him his phone back and you obviously make an explanation, the reason I'm giving you your phone back, and you might want to do it within limited parameters, say, okay, I understand the situation has changed, and you're isolated away from your friends, that's going to be really hard for you. Empathize with him, I can see how that's going to affect you, and I want what's best for you. So now I think that what's best for you is to have some contact with your friends. That will build connection, that will make him feel loved and cared for. And what he will take on an underlying basis is that his well-being is your top priority.
Perfect. Thank you. That was wonderful. Yeah. Okay, so can I just ask Kylie, just because we haven't heard from you yet, and you're full of amazing knowledge too. So have you got any advice for maybe people self-isolating on their own and maybe finding a struggle, and they haven't got that interaction with human beings, and human touch and human conversation is so important to us, well, to me especially, and I'm sure to everyone as well. So those people that are dealing with the isolation on their own, have you got any maybe visualizations or anything that you could?
So for me, even though we're in a time of self-isolation, I do believe that we're in a world that is more connected than ever before. Just our platform here represents that. And I just go back, so I obviously talk a lot about small businesses and small enterprises within South Africa. And the way I've built up my brand has been through networking. And you can still do networking online in this time. There are so many support groups, mine included, that are offering group meditations, that are offering group support chats, that are offering this group connection. And even for myself and my mom, for example, we're probably going to do a Zoom chat once a day so I can even talk to the dog in lockdown. It's just, you can be connected if you make that choice to. And I think what the situation is teaching us at the moment is that we need to stop working from circumstance and start working from possibility. Yeah. And our circumstance right now is, yes, we're in lockdown. Yes, we've got this imposing, I don't want to say threat, but we've got this imposing threat of this virus spreading, which is a very big reality. But what we can do is we can look at the situation from a place of possibility of what is possible for me right now. most people that I work with have been saying, I wish I had more time. I wish I could do this. I wish I could do that. If you cannot do those things in this time, you're never going to be able to do them. So if you cannot make 2 minutes a day to do your breath work, or to do meditation, or to start a new habit. I know, I'm assuming it's also 21 days in the UK that we locked down for, but it takes 21 days to form a new habit. What a beautiful time and space to actually start something new and implement it, because yes, it takes 66 to 67 days to actually enforce it, but you've got 21 days where you can start on a blank slate and ask who you want to become. Who is it that you want to be? What is it that you want to have? And often people say, oh no, only once I have all the time in the world, then I'll start implementing these things, then I'll have the success that I desire. But this is such a beautiful time to work from the be, do, have principle of being the person that even though you can't go to the gym, do a home workout. It's still moving your body. It's still moving that energy. Be the person that, if, like so many people I know have been wanting to start online businesses, now is a beautiful time to do it. Most people that drive to and from work, especially in the South African context, are literally saving themselves 2 hours a day now because they're not sitting in traffic. Use that time to do whatever it is that you've been wanting to do. So my biggest advice is, yes, we are in isolation, but you choose whether you want to be isolated from the world or whether you want to be connected. And there are ways in which to do that. There are ways in which you can have a community even without that physical interaction. We are more connected than ever before. So I hope that answers the question.
I love that. That's an absolutely perfect point. What about the people that maybe aren't so good at technology, that aren't, the older people that are, you know, that are technophobes? They don't want to, they're stuck in the past. I mean, is there any advice that we can, anyone in this group can give that kind of a person? That's challenging.
It is challenging, but I don't believe it's too old to teach anybody new tricks. Like, you can always teach an old dog new tricks. And again, if it's something that a person truly wants to do, they will make it happen. When you want success as much as you want to breathe, you will make that success happen. You will be able to breathe from that place, whatever it is that you want. So if it is something, you guys have 2 days. Like, it's not like we're going down into lockdown right from this moment. Ask a family member, hey, come over, set up a WhatsApp for me so I know how to video call you. Set up this for me, help me do this. You've still got time in which you can interact with family members. Set it up from now. If you know, like, I know a lot of people in our community are saying to older people, if you need somebody to phone, just give me a call. Put up something on your window, whatever it is, there are ways in which to do this. So I do believe that if it is something that you want badly enough, you will make it happen.
Thank you so much. That's brilliant, Carly. Thank you. Has anyone got anything to add to that? Sure, Dagmar, go ahead. Go.
I just wanted to comment to what I forgot your name. No, the lady before, when she talked about children and making connection.
Yeah.
So I think in order to make that connection she was talking about, I think it's very important to ask the child, first of all, how do you feel? Yeah. So we already connecting. And then the second question can be, what do you need? Or what would you like to do? So we then following the child needs and wants at that moment, respecting ours, obviously, but also this is the connection. That's how we make the connection. We ask the child, how do you feel? What do you want to do? You know, and we do whatever the child wants to. So this is the time for the child to really be seen, and the attention is given, and then it really comes from a different place than just assuming that the child would like to do that, so I'll do that with the child. So that's just a small tip.
I love that.
Yeah, it's a good, can I just respond? Yes, it's a great place to start. Absolutely. And a lot of children will be able to do that. They'll be able to say how they're feeling. They'll be able to say what they want to do. There will be a large chunk of children who are used to such regimented routine. If they've been in school, they're used to getting up in the morning, being told what to wear, where to go, what to think about, what to do, that when you ask them, how do you feel? What do you want to do? They'll say, I don't know. And you'll just get a blank wall of, I don't know, I don't know. Or if you've got a teenager, that's pretty much all you're going to get from them. I don't know. or a grunt, or a I don't care, like, if you get words at all, then so a good place to start, if you get that, I mean, first of all, absolutely, yes, ask them first, see what you can get from them first. And if you get that blanket, I don't know, then ask yourself, what behavior are they exhibiting, and what are they trying to fulfill with that behavior? What need are they trying to fulfill? And then find ways to kind of cater for that need. So, you know, I've got a teenager who is just gaming, and he's trying to game and game and game all the time online with his friends. So what's the need he's trying to fulfill? It's a combination. He's trying to alleviate boredom, he's trying to have some control, and he's trying to keep that connection with his friends. So, you know, I have been in response to that, I have been more flexible on our screen rules than we would usually be. I have allowed him to stay on a little bit longer. I've allowed him to move time slots and things, because I can see it's fulfilling a need. So I think I'll wrap it up quickly because I know we're short on time, but basically look for the need that they're trying to fulfill and find ways that you can cater for it, even if they say, I don't know.
Perfect. Susanna, did you want to say something? Did I see Susanna?
Yes, I forgot to unmute myself. Well, I think since you guys are at the beginning of this confinement period, right? It just started for you last night, I guess.
Yeah.
We've been through it for about a week now. And what I found very useful in terms of how to deal with the children is basically have a talk to them about what's happening before asking how they feel, because they don't feel, for them it's, you know, it's like some of them are actually happy for not going to school. You know how the kids are. I remember being little and I was thinking, oh my God, I hope the end of the world comes because I don't feel like going to school today. You know how children think. And so it's to have this conversation with them where you really consider them capable of listening to what's happening and responsibilize them in a sense that, hey, it is a situation that is very strange. It is different than what we used to. And let's be curious about what's happening through this. I mean, don't insufflate to them the feeling of fear. Oh my God, this is awful. What's happening? We have to stick to the rules. Actually, tell them, listen, this is new for me as well. We haven't been through this yet, but let's stay curious and playful about what's happening. And give them the roles. Look, we're in this like it's a family. Everybody has its role. Everybody plays an important role, and your role will be this. You are part of the team. This is what I've been talking to my girl, and now she's leading me the step classes. She's responsible with the exercise, the physical exercise class. And then at 5 o'clock, she tells me, Mom, it's time for the exercise. So we do it together.
Nice.
I think this is an important thing, and also it's an important moment when we can transmit the values. We can transmit the values. What's important? You have to tell them stories about what's really important in life. Tell them about God. I know. Tell them about truthfulness. Tell them about compassion and love. This is the time when you can talk to your kids about all these things. And you can use these terms, like instead of going too much, like too strict. Use the hypnotic speech. You might want to do that. Perhaps you want to go on and do this now. Perhaps we might, you know, I'm pretty sure that you'd like it too, to eat that way. And also, when they say no, that's a trick that I've been using with my girl. But now she knows that I'm using it, and she's, oh, come on, you're using that trick on me again, Mom. If they say no, you say, why would you do it? Okay, I understand that you don't want to do that, but tell me, why would you do it? And then they will say, I don't know, because I don't know, I think it's good for me to do my homework. And you would ask them how much on a scale from 0 to 10, for instance, you would still like to do it. And they say 2, for instance, like very, very low. And you say, oh my God, that much? I mean, it's still a lot, you know. I was expecting you to give me a 0, but it's still 2%. So you make their mind work on why they would do it rather than, oh my God, you have to do it. You have to punish you for not doing it. It's not the time for that, I think. However, a structure helps. Children need structure. So you decide the guidelines. Morning we eat at that time, lunch is at that time. I want you to do this homework for this day. The rest, we can be playful and we can create stuff, come up with ideas. So these are the few notes I wanted to add.
Susanna, thank you. Can I just, I'm thinking of wrapping this all up now, but what I would like to say as well is that it's okay, things that you can do and that you excel at, do that. And it's okay not to be able to excel at everything. We are not superhuman, we are human, and that we can ask for help. you know, and not to be scared to ask for help, because so many of us have this strong outer shell that we're invulnerable, we don't need this. But it's okay. It's okay to get that fear, or to get those things that you're not 100% used to doing, or you know, your strengths aren't there, and to ask for help. Ask your grandparents, ask your son and daughter's friends, bring them in, and using the connections that we've got and that we are capable of to make that possible. So that's all I'd like to say. Has anyone else got anything to round up with, or is everyone good?
Can I add one thing?
Please do, Lucinda.
You asked a question earlier about where you've got somebody that's going out of the home. You can't isolate entirely. So that's the circumstance we have here. My husband is a delivery driver, so he's a key worker. He's out delivering all your stuff. And in terms of managing fear and anxiety around things that are out of our control. Now, I've always had a technique with the children that I've used, which is called the circle of influence. It's not mine, didn't make it up, found it somewhere a long time ago. And if you're doing it with children, you can do it physically. You can actually draw a circle and write inside it all the things that are within your control that you can actually take action on. And then on the outside of the circle, you write the things that you can't. So for example, at the moment, I can't take control of whether there is a virus or not. I can't take control of whether he comes in and out of my house or not. But what I can take control of is whether we wash our hands, whether we sterilize the door handles, you know, whether we take loads of vitamin C, or whatever it is. Yes. And what we do with that is, I mean, we've been practicing this for a long time. So if it's inside the circle of influence, you action it. You do it well, and you focus on what you can do. If it's outside the circle of influence, you take a deep breath, you let it go, and you go, okay. Mm-hmm. Now, some people will struggle to do that. I understand if it's new to you, then letting go of things you have no control over is a challenge. But Linda, my mother, she has a technique she uses called the blue bowl, which is a brilliant technique that teaches you a way of putting those fears and those anxieties and those stresses in a safe place, so that you don't have to focus on them, so that they don't influence any of the daily life. So if that's something that would be useful, I'd recommend you speak to Linda for that blue bowl technique.
Absolutely, Lucinda, thank you. Guys, I want to say yet again, you raised my energy so much, and I'm eternally grateful for having you guys in my life, honestly, with all my heart. And I cannot wait for the next one. And I do believe that everyone watching it, the last video has hit about almost 3,000 people have watched that now. So we are definitely getting to people now, and helping and making the difference to everyone. So thank you. That is all I can say, is thank you. And I will then again, I'm going to post it on YouTube. I'm going to put your websites on there. And if anyone out on the watching this on the replay wants to contact anyone in particular, I'm going to list the websites on the Now Coach. And we're all going to share it anyway, because this is for everybody. This is for me. This is for everyone on here, and this is for everybody watching as well, because we all need this. I'm just going to say, sure, that's fine. So, can I? Sorry, Linda.
Yeah, can I say something? Can I thank you for being the energy behind this? You are the spearhead of it. We are here today, and more are queuing up to come in future videos, aren't they? Because of you, because of your energy, and because of your persistence. So thank you.
This is needed, and it's needed for everybody. And I'm very excited because I spoke to the ANLP, which is our group that governs the NLP in the UK. I don't know if in New Zealand or South Africa it's the same, the ANLP, but over here I've spoken to them, and they love what we are doing. They love it, and they're going to be sending out to their practitioners and master practitioners, and who will be contacting us. So we are really trying to get that positive wave out there, and everyone's behind us, and let's just keep it on. And I'm so grateful, so thank you. And everyone have the best day. Use that now state, breathe, let it all go, and I'll see you all on Friday. Please God, take care, have a lovely week.
You too. Thank you, Danielle.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye.
Heidi, thank you for running it. You can stop the live now. Thank you.
Yeah, I've stopped the live stream, so yes, all
Guys,
sorted.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Pleasure.
Good. Can I also say now that we're kind of offline, it is interesting to see that this kind of flowed completely different to sort of the questions. And I think we need to allow ourselves to be flexible to how it does go, because we are all experiencing something that is very flowing and very different. So thank you. And thank you also for allowing the question. I didn't want to, I kind of hoped that I hadn't jumped off
I'm so great. No, because everyone's experiencing, people are experiencing what you're experiencing. All of the things that we're going through is what other people are going through too. So our experiences that we need help and advice and other perspectives for, everyone else, you know, there's a lot of people in our same position. So the more questions, the merrier. And this is for all of us too. Do you know what I mean? It's a little bit of normality in the world.
It definitely raises, you know, like how certainly from where I'm at, talking to like-minded people and sharing ideas and stuff is it's like fantastic. So yeah, thank all of you so much, really.